Chelsea might be proving me wrong, but I'll give you guys a few more weeks. And a huge part of that, of course, is Cole Palmer. Now, when Cole Palmer joined Chelsea, there was an expectation of potentially this being another long-term development plan, with him coming from Man City's academy and in that Community Shield game scoring a goal for City that unfortunately did not lead to the winner. He came with a lot of potential. However, it always begged the question of why he didn't play more football at Man City. Now, with the information that we have, it makes you even more concerned of how good Man City really are if they've got this guy scraping minutes. Cole Palmer last weekend became the first player to score 4 goals in the first half of a Premier League game. Post-match presser Brighton coach Fabian Huseler came out saying that they had one player that punished every single mistake. Is Cole Palmer currently the best player in the Premier League? Now, people may scoff at that by saying, well, look at Haaland and his goals, but Cole Palmer has this side to him that is almost gravitating, and I can only compare it similar to the Jack Grealish effect, where when you hear him talk, there's a certain party that thinks that thank God he's good at football. But of course, we'll go into that later on. Comment down below your thoughts on Cole Palmer. And is he, right now, the best player in the Premier League? Comment down below. Like, subscribe, and Mozilla Designs for the best prints, all made by myself. We've now got the Halloween sale with all new blackout prints on the site. So, of course, Cole Palmer is one of them, and of course, a few Chelsea ones too. Use code Halloween for 17% off for the entire month, and link is down below. And let's get straight into it. Only 2 players in this Premier League century of 24 years has reached 30 or more goal involvements under the age of 22. Those 2 are Cristiano Ronaldo and Erling Haaland. Decent company, with Cole Palmer being in that mix. Now, in terms of goal involvements in the entirety of Europe in the last season or so, Cole Palmer is second, above Erling Haaland, and the only person he's below is Harry Kane at Bayern Munich. Cole Palmer last year, just in the Premier League alone, had 22 goals and 11 assists in 33 games. And not even just that, but he also was a big game player in many of those games. In big moments he's shown through, not only for the club, but in international level, scoring for England in the Euro final. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and that probably would be forgotten about forever. However, that cannot be forgotten, his impact in those games. And if you thought he was slowing down, no, he's definitely not. 6 goals and 4 assists in 6 Premier League games so far this season. Now, for many critics out there, they'll come out saying the likes of how many of those goals are penalties, or he's the only good player in the Chelsea system. And the thing is, yes, penalties is a factor. However, you know who usually takes penalties? Usually the best players in the team, and that's why it happens. And also, Palmer has not just been given a ton of penalties and he's missing maybe some of them. He's got a 100% penalty conversion rate. So obviously, he would take the penalties. And one moment last year that really impressed me was when it was against Everton, I believe, and that there was a falling out between Madueke and Jackson for who would take a penalty, and Cole Palmer, even at his young age, in a moment that you would imagine may just like let it slide, stepped up, pushed him out the way, didn't say a word, and took the penalty anyway and scored. Easy as that. That is a different type of pressure, not just one based on the fans, but also by your peers. And he had the self-confidence just to push his teammate aside, showcase that I am the man, and put it away easily. In terms of if Cole Palmer is the best Premier League player, that's your own decision. You may think it's Haaland for all the goals, you may think it's maybe Rodri for his dominance and control in games and his effectiveness in games. However, Cole Palmer, in terms of technical ability, I say is the best in the Premier League. The only players I can say in their technical level is like a Bukayo Saka or like a Phil Foden. When he's on his left foot and he's squared up against a defender, he could do pretty much anything he wants with the ball and completely play the game at his own pace. I remember one of the best goals I saw from him was against Everton, where he nutmegged Jarlath Branthwaite, had a 1-2, and then finished it from outside the box into the bottom corner. And it's something as simple as that you don't really see too often these days, but he does it on a constant basis. And he can do whatever he wishes. If he wants to spin a man like he's a Beyblade, then he can do that as well. He's not a player known for accelerating pace. He's not a dribbler in that kind of way. He is a typical Man City product, which is incredibly technical and at the elite level in all aspects, where in every circumstance he knows what to do next, and this leads to his next biggest factor: his calmness. The reason why he's got the cold celebration is that he's ice cold. He's cool, calm and collected. And his composure on the pitch showcases how he can perform at big moments in the biggest games. Of course, not every single game, people may say, but what player does perform in every single game? And no, don't say Ronaldo and Messi, because sometimes they also go missing too. In big games, so Chelsea showed up, if it's against Tottenham or Arsenal, or if it's against City, and of course that game against Manchester United with that incredible winner that he not just scored the penalty, but then scored a minute later to win the entire game 4-3. By the way, that print is on the site. Nice plug there. That's why when he played for England in the Euros, he didn't look phased at all and just played his game, and that's why he scored in the final in the first place. And he was there to take the penalties as well. Now, this leads to a bit of a side part of Palmer, and a kind of meme that you found online is that Cole Palmer is someone which doesn't feel the pressure because he doesn't think of much more other than football. And I've got a compilation here to kind of showcase this.
At the moment, there's a lot of speculation about them signing a striker. I mean, do you think it could maybe save them £100 million by doing that role?
Don't know.
You've been on the M25?
Probably, I don't know what that is.
I don't even know, you know, next one.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know, to be honest. Don't know.
Just compare working with Pep Guardiola to working with Mauricio Pochettino.
Don't know.
In one word, how do you describe 2023 the year?
I don't even know how to spell this.
Why do you think Gareth Southgate called you up to the squad?
Don't know.
How difficult is what?
Oh. AM and Peter, what do you mean? What?
I saw a tweet that got like, I don't know, 20 odd thousand likes, and it was along the lines of, he cannot possibly think of anything else other than dunno or ball, that it's almost like a superpower to it, that nothing else can phase him. And this may come across as really harsh, but it actually may be a superpower. Like, it genuinely could be. He doesn't overthink, which is possibly the best thing you can do in football. However, I must insist, I'm not thinking that he's stupid or anything, because there's actually probably a good reason for this. That, don't forget, he's part of the Man City Academy, where he's exposed to people at a young age that will be introducing him football styles, techniques, which makes you not just mentally skillful, but also showcasing so many different philosophies that you have to stay calm. From the age of 12, 13, 14, he was already put into an elite level, and at this stage, this is when he had David Silva at the club, and he's literally mentoring from him, so it makes sense. And if you have a club like Man City, and when you're coming through the ranks, like when Pep got in charge back in 2016-17, it only makes sense that to be part of that Man City team, you can't be having an ego like that. Now, of course, there are certain exceptions. You know, Phil Foden is not the same personality as Cole Palmer, absolutely not. But they all have the same bedrock, and that is being calm and composed under the biggest moments. That's why typically the Man City Academy players are typically one of the best in the world. Do you think maybe Pep Guardiola is regretting letting go Cole Palmer? I mean, he played him in the Community Shield final, or got subbed on in a season that he let him go, so clearly he wasn't far away being a starter. They did let him go for £42.5 million, which in this context does look a bit cheap on terms of what his probably value is now. The simple fact is that at that time period, Cole Palmer had Riyad Mahrez ahead of him, Bernardo Silva ahead of him. He wasn't even a part of the original Man City preseason squad, and he was playing for England for the Euros and got called up when Mahrez went to go to Saudi Arabia. He wasn't even part of the actual main preseason team. And the thing that freaks me out the most is that Cole Palmer was genuinely linked to Burnley. There was a world where Cole Palmer would have got a loan move to Burnley. This is absolutely true and confirmed, and was even in our documentary, that we were so close to getting Cole Palmer on loan for Man City. It frustrates the life out of me how, imagine a world where Cole Palmer was at Burnley. Palmer last season was so important to Chelsea that it made you really think, where would Chelsea even be without him? Like, don't forget Chelsea, despite finishing in a somewhat reasonable position at the end of last year, they spent the majority of last season in 10th place. 11th, 10th, 9th place, pretty much the entire campaign until their decent run at the end. Now this year, they've had a good start. And this is where I may actually be giving credit to Chelsea, and that video will come soon if you guys continue. How far can Palmer go? His style of football is somewhat, it can come across as a bit lapsing at times, where he's not looking like he's completely there. But however, that's part of the game almost, where his easy and almost like languid style is effective because he can always catch out his defenders to make them move first, and he responds to them. He is one of the only English talents that can control the game, the tempo of the game, comfortably, dictate play with effortless composure. And football, by the end of it, comes down to one thing: mentality. And that is the great divide between a good player, a great player, and an elite player. He's got the mentality to be an elite player. Absolutely. Self-belief and his ability to control his emotions and to control his surroundings. And that is huge. So comment down below your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.